Whether you're a suburban athlete or an Olympic champion, you've got to work hard to get results. We've put over 15 years' experience into developing Active Man, combining vitamins, minerals and proteins. Active Man helps provide you with the nutrients you need to optimize performance and assist recovery. Discover the Active Man range, now available. Active Man, power up.
Welcome to this week's Power Progress podcast, and I have amazing guest speaker, Dario Cucci. I'll make sure I've got that right. He is a holistic business and sales coach, and basically I worked with Dario a number of years ago. We met at Andy Harrington's Power Achieve. He's an amazing coach. How you doing, mate? You good?
I am great. Thank you for the introduction. You actually nailed my surname, which is great.
Excellent stuff. We had a pre-chat beforehand. Obviously, where we got speaking again was that you're from amazing country, Switzerland, which I'm really intrigued to visit. But maybe for the audience, maybe just give a little bit of a background about yourself.
All right. Well, I grew up in, most of my life actually was raised in Switzerland. And at around the age of, I'd say, 26, 27 years of age, I decided, after initiating getting my citizenship of New Zealand and everything, to go and live in Australia. So I moved to Australia from Switzerland, and I stayed in Australia for about 15 years, where I actually first worked in retail and the hospitality industry, and eventually I decided to become a personal trainer. Wow. And I got certified as a personal trainer, and then started working with Fitness First. Even had apprentices under me, and I did it for almost 5 years. But during my time, I also noticed that people are very superficial learning when it comes to their own body. So, which brings the fact that we are not just body, we are also mind. And the fact is, if we are only go from body and the looks of it, and not learn from the inside out, just from the outside in, we are actually, stopping our own way of evolving as human beings, so that we end up sabotaging what we actually have done as a success with changing our bodies. And I've seen that over and over, but I didn't know how to help. So I ended up quitting being a personal trainer and started learning about neurolinguistic programming, NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnosis, and got into the self-development world, and working as a life and business coach back then. And I got the opportunity to work based on commission only for the Anthony Robbins team in Sydney.
Wow.
Which was great. It was a great opportunity. It was very unique. And I found that making sales over the phone is a completely different ballgame to doing it in person as a personal trainer. And at first I was like, I was literally like a struggle to actually get one sale over the line, because most of the people I called were cold leads. People that heard about Tony Robbins, that have read his book, but that have not been in contact with the company for such a long time, that they didn't really have a relationship with the company. So after 2 weeks, not making one sale, working from 9 a.m. till in the evening every day, one day I had enough, and I got up in the morning and said, either I make a sale or I quit this job. And it was on that day that I ended up making a sale that made me $1,000.
Wow.
On commission. So just, made enough money to pay for my rent and have it on the side. And that's how I had my breakthrough. And after that, I was like on fire, making sales and making commission of about $10,000 per month. That's how my career started. And I got referred to other companies with recommendations. Almost 10 years in a row, I did for 3 companies that I worked for during my time in Australia, made them an additional $1 million+ revenue per year or more. and eventually became, promoted to acquisition and sales manager as well, and all within the self-development industry. And that went really, really well. And from the outside in, you would say I was a role model of success story, if you want, because first it was commission-based only, and then eventually I was employed with a salary and commission, and I got up the ladder. But from the inside, I felt trapped because I felt that the companies I worked for did not honor their promise, and they did not treat the people with integrity and honesty and transparency. So people would end up, buying the program, but not get actually the service they paid for. And so they had regulations and rules that were just not fair towards the customer. And so as a result, over the years, I got frustrated, but I felt I couldn't do much about it. And one day during lunch, I ended up getting this feeling in my face where I felt something was off. I wasn't sure, did I have a stroke or whatnot. I ended up going to the hospital, being after I went to the manager and told me, no, you go to the hospital. And in the hospital itself, I asked myself the question, what would be if I die right now? I was in Australia without family. I had no one. And I asked myself, if I were to die, did I really live my life with purpose? And the answer was no. And then when I asked my subconscious mind, so what is my purpose? It showed me exactly what it was. It was me sharing my knowledge and experience with other people, being on stage, interacting with people, me being the expert out there, not Tony Robbins, not Chris Howard, not Dr. John Marty, anybody else. They're all experts in their own field, don't get me wrong. But that is not my purpose. It's not my purpose to highlight them. My purpose is here on this planet right now to inspire, educate, and coach other entrepreneurs and people in life to show them how they can serve their customers better, make more sales, and win their loyalty. So by serving them better, by understanding them. And that's ultimately what I decided to do. I ended up, quitting the job, moving back to Switzerland. And after 2 years being in Switzerland, started my own company, which is now Entrepreneur Growth, that is solely focused on entrepreneurs, coaches, experts, and personal trainers to help them change their mindset, but also improve their communication skills and leadership skills and strategies to, win clients and make money with what they love doing, and also have a long-term plan on how they can serve the clients long-term without having to do the hard sell and without having to constantly recruit new customers, because the average customer duration might be 1 or 2 years and then they go somewhere else, which is a big problem today, because in marketing, we put so much money and time into getting new clients. And then you got that client, you got it maybe for 1 year, and they maybe made one repurchase. And as you know, the most money we make from our service comes from repurchase. If they only buy once or twice, we make a bit of a profit. But if they stay long-term and they keep on buying from us because we understand them and we know how to serve them better, then they have no reason to leave. The only reason they leave is because they don't feel understood, or they don't feel served, or they feel served out, and after a certain time, they feel they need to go somewhere else. But why is that? It's because the communication system is broken. And that's where I come in, that's where I help people to change that.
Amazing. There's 2 parts of that story I want to go back to, which really hit home a little bit. We go back to that point where you nearly give up on the phone calls. And then you got that first sale. And then all of a sudden, that was what you call the breakthrough, and it led on to more sales. If you took yourself back to there, what was it? What got you that sale?
I would say, I would say it was that mindset to not give up, to ultimately to adapt my strategy. And instead of giving up, I ended up going in with certainty. There, when you're every day on the phone and you hear no so many times, or not interested, or people hang up on you, it is very defeating. So you can, you have to have a thick skin. And back then I didn't have that thick skin. I didn't never experience that kind of no, not interested, or you have a great conversation, but they're still not actually going ahead. And that was very much defeating. And so on the day when I got up, I had a certainty that I didn't have before. So that certainty to reflect and then go, so Saira, what should I focus on during my phone calls? And what should I do? And then I remembered I had some really good conversations during those 2 weeks. And I remembered this one lady, she actually said, I'm interested in doing Date with Destiny. Now, just to give you an idea, Date with Destiny is about a 5-day workshop with Tony Robbins, where it's about developing your wheel of life, if you want, to get clarity what it is that you, in every area, from health to business to friendship to partnership, you want to create. And the starting price is at $6,000. And the reason I'm saying that is because you need to think about this. This lady never met me in person. And for her to then go, all right, I'm ready, here is my credit card, there needed to be a certain level of trust and a certain level of understanding and empathy for me to bring across to on the other end. And that was ultimately what I did. So, I led with that. Instead of just pitching her, I changed it and I went to showing more empathy and answering her questions and having a certainty about it. When I asked, so are you now ready to enroll yourself to do Date with Destiny? Where I didn't have that 2 weeks before when I first had that conversation with her. I was unsure. I didn't have that mindset on being certain about it. And I wasn't as diverse in the way that I, was able to adapt my behavior because I didn't have that experience yet. So, and that's also one of the things where people just underestimate itself. You can do the hard pitch, you can twist people's arms and all of that, but, and this is a big but, if you do things that way, there are 2 things that will happen. If the person is even just 10% not sure that they did the right decision, they will be buyer's regret. And with buyer's regret, there comes refund requests, and then you have to talk to them again and do the objection handling again and do all of that again to just possibly keep them from asking for their money back. Or the second version is they buy. They don't have buyer's regret initially, but if they're not the right fit for you, they will not do what you ask them to do. And with any coaching and any kind of expert consulting, you name it, in any kind of service, no matter if it is personal training, coaching, or whatever, even therapy, okay, it is a two-way street. You can tell the person what they need to do, but if they don't do it, the question is, why don't they do it? And the reason might be because they don't believe in themselves. And if they don't believe that they can do it, there are things that I can do as a coach, definitely with my NLP training on changing the beliefs, limiting beliefs and reframing and doing timeline therapy and all of that. But at the end of the day, the person still needs to apply themselves. There is a say, you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot make the horse drink the water. So they still need to do that themselves, and and if you do a hard pitch and you do all the objection handling and then you get finally them on board, if they say yes because they believe in you, but they don't believe in themselves, they say yes to the solution, but they will not get the results because they will stand in their own way as a result of that.
That's interesting. So a lot of people won't know this. Around about the age of 17, I actually worked on site. I actually was training to be a bricklayer. And on the rainy days, I worked for a company which basically sold double glazing. And that involved heavily being on the phone. But I was actually really good at it. And because I didn't have that, if you like, mindset of feeling rejected. And going back even further, there was a simple little thing I used to do at school, which I think built that resilience. And that was basically, my mum used to make packed lunches. You'd kill me if she heard this, but I never used to like the packed lunches, so I never used to eat them. So I had two options. I'd either walk to school to save my bus money to use for my lunch, or I'd ask other friends and people in, say, the canteen to give me money. So most time I chose to ask people for money to get my chicken and mushroom pie. So I think from that level of rejection, what I used to have at that school, or schools in general, of keep asking and saying no, I think that carried me forward for when I actually worked on the phones, because I didn't have any knockbacks. I didn't feel like I was knocked back. I was always looking, okay, what can I do next? What can I do next? So I got very good at doing it on the phone. But then years later, I actually went backwards, and I actually don't like doing that later in life. But now I'm fine with it now. But I went through that little stage of not being very good at feeling rejection. So it's interesting how skills can change due to the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we all got the resources within us, but it's about practicing them and really noticing where can I adapt it. So
Yeah.
where am I really good at right now? Where am I really not good at right now? And I mean, with any coach, people go, you know, I don't know how you have it when you do personal training, but with any coach, the way that I see coaching, there is, you guide people through questions. That's what you do as a coach. As a mentor, I tell the people what they need to do. So that they're very distinguished and very different. And so that's why I say to people when they come to me, and I'm sure you can confirm that I have an approach that has a mixture of both. So on one hand, I will ask you questions that gets you more clarity. And on the other hand, I will tell you this is what you need to do in order to do X, Y, Z, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true.
So, and this is where we need to, when we work with people, we need to figure out what is it that they need in that moment. Do they need coaching or do they need mentoring? If you are not a mentor, but you can refer them to somebody that is a mentor of that
Just get that 1 second.
Sure.
Pause for harness?
Yes, thank you. Oh, yeah. Cheers. That was Sod's Law, wasn't it? We got that.
That's fine, not a problem.
Cool, I'll let you carry on, mate.
Yeah, so if you are a coach and you want to refer them to a mentor that is in a specific area like marketing or social media or whatnot, then go ahead and do that. But if you are a person that does like a little bit of both, then just you need to adapt your way of talking to the person and figure out what is it that they need right now, there and then. Or sometimes they need more like a therapy session rather than a coaching session. I mean, depending on where the person is, I use all those tools that I have available for myself, because I've been doing this for now 22 plus years, and I've studied so many different techniques that I can apply, and also working with people that, that's one of the advantages that I have, that I can literally tap into that and use those kind of skills that I have in that moment.
Yeah, that's good. And that leads on to the second part of your story. And that was that breakthrough moment where you felt, if you like, on your own in Australia, and you had your breakthrough. Do you find when you're coaching people, you need to ask the right questions to bring that out of them, to find their breakthrough, the reason they're doing their coaching?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look, the thing is, we normally have breakthroughs like that if we don't work on our, well, not necessarily, but let me reframe this. The breakthrough that I had in the hospital was because of fear that I will die alone. Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I had. So they, scanned my brain, and then they said, well, you don't have a stroke, you got Bell's palsy, which basically is paralyzed, part of your face is paralyzed. And the doctors really don't know how to heal it. They give you some medication, and then after that, I ended up doing hypnosis therapy and acupuncture to get the movement back, to heal my face so that it would actually be able to move again. So when it comes to breakthroughs, there are small breakthroughs that you might even get during having lunch or something, or somebody says something and you go, oh, wow. But then there are greater breakthroughs that are come through a coaching session because you're asking quality questions that go deeper. So, one question that I normally give people as a task to ask themselves before they start working with me is, so what is it that you're no longer willing to tolerate in your life? As an example, because if you look at and reflect on that, what is it that you're no longer willing to tolerate, as an example, that alone might even give you a breakthrough, because now you are looking at that blind spot that you have put aside and you're not actually looking at. It's there, but you're actually ignoring it. And now you're asking that question, you become aware of what have you been doing all this time that you actually tolerate, even though you're not okay with it. And that alone is a huge thing, because how many times in life do we do things just because we tolerate it as a result, and then we compromise our own integrity through it? And that stops us from not only selling or growing our business, but it stops us also from being our authentic self.
Yeah, it's so true, actually. Yeah, and that part of it is so interesting. And I think obviously we had a pre-chat before, and there is a lot of coaches out there these days which help with businesses, and there's ones which you can join and it's very structured. But there's something a little bit different about your coaching plan right now, isn't it?
Yeah, my coaching program, it's called the Sales Growth program, and it's very simple. I realized that every business, every coaching, personal trainer, expert, no matter, I worked with marketing agencies, I worked with call centers, I worked with insurance agencies, with personal trainers such as yourself over the years, or with coaches and therapists. Every small business or service provider that does something for the people has a different strength and a different weakness. Just like you said before, you notice, oh, that's my strength, and you automatically do it. But then there are things that are in your way where you try it out, and then you stop and try something different, and you keep on stumbling through it, and somehow you survive and you make money, but you are not actually have a plan on how to get there, and as a result you end up failing more often than winning. And so my coaching is very much adapted or personalized towards the person that comes to me, or the company that comes to me, with what their weaknesses are, to solve those weaknesses and make it their strength, and prioritize it towards what is a priority for them, not for me as a coach, but for them as a client. So if they are, give an example, if in the program, it's always one-to-one coaching and, small group training, if it's a company and they got 10 or 20 employees. But ultimately it's tailored towards where their problem lies. So let's say they got a really good mindset, but they still have some limitations when it comes to handling objections because of the morale that the team has when it comes to the way of handling it. So that's a mindset, for instance. But it's not a priority for them right now, even though it might be really good and it might boost their sales, but it's not their priority. Their priority is their communication and their leadership. So they might say to me, look, we want to improve our communication with our existing customers to make more cross sales, meaning selling more of our products in a different area and get the revenue higher there. And we want to have a more transparent leadership with our team. So in the first few months, we want to focus on that. Once we manage that, then we want to focus more on the mindset stuff. And a person like yourself might come to me and say, look, I got a block right now and I'm blocked. I got limiting beliefs around selling. I can't handle this anymore. I'm too stressed. And you say, look, I'm really good with building relationships and making sales, but so it's not a priority there, but the mindset stuff is the priority. And I go, okay, so work on that. So work on that one first, and then the communication part, if there is anything that you feel like you want to work on that. And that's how it's unique in itself, because most high-end coaching programs out there, and I'm not going to name any names right now, but I tried and tested quite a few in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. And they're all between $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 or more. The problem is you will be given access to an online video program. And then you need to watch all the topics on all of that you most likely already know but don't do. So you spend hours on that, and then you go through doing admin work. Maybe you need to fill out a questionnaire form and stuff like that. And you already done all that in your life for your business. And then you get maybe 6 or 10 one-on-one coaching sessions, and the coach or mentor just goes through the program. They do not have the behavioral flexibility and experience to go different, to go, okay, so where is it that you need value from me? Because if you are talking to me about branding and about branding colors and stuff like that, I already know that. So I've done all that. So I don't need to spend an hour with you on branding and you asking and coaching me through to a branding kind of thing. So then the question is, where is the value in that? Why do you spend so much money on something that ultimately is most likely a waste of time?
Yeah.
And so what is different with mine is I don't do that. I'm not going to tell you watch X amount of videos. What I will do is I will analyze where you're at, what it is that you want to ultimately achieve, and where you feel that is a priority for you to change, to improve on. And then I will actually do the coaching exactly, and mentoring and coaching exactly like that towards you. So if you turn up and you go, this is what I want to focus on, then we'll focus on that. And that's incredibly valuable for a business owner or a small business, because they can immediately apply what they learned into their business and into their life. So it will make a huge difference for them, and they don't need to wait 6 months or 1 year to get there, because they don't need to go through an entire online video program for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose the other good factor is when you start working with them, you work on what they think needs to be worked on. I guess as you go through with asking the right questions, you can draw out of them what they may or not even know what they need to work on. Because sometimes people are unaware of what might be the weaknesses, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the coaching. Ultimately, you want to help people to discover what they don't even know yet. And that comes through the questioning, of course. Absolutely. And I always say, look, it's not, the coach is not here to tell them where the problem lies, but the coach is there to help them realize where the problem lies. So I need you to realize something that you didn't even know, or maybe you did, but you ignored it. And now that you got me in your corner, you're more, I'd say you're more encouraged to look at it and to take action to change it. Whereas maybe before you knew about it, but you didn't have that courage to take it on, and to take it on and do something about it.
Yes, brilliant. Obviously, we might as well finish off roundabout here, but if someone is looking to be coached, have you got any final message for them if they're considering?
If somebody wants to be coached or is coaching?
If someone needs help, or they're looking to find a coach, or maybe they are stuck and they don't even consider going towards a coach.
Well, look, when you I'm just going to pitch myself here. I mean, I'm here, and if you feel like you're stuck and you're not sure where you want to go, you can go through my website, dariocucci.net, and book yourself in for an obligation-free sales growth discovery call with me. And I'll give you valuable feedback on what it is that you can do to get unstuck, and what it is that you need to look out for in regards to being coached or wanting to be coached. And if at that time it is we have the conversation that it might be a right fit, that I will work together, then I'll let you know, of course, how we can work together. And that's it. I think ultimately my tip would be, instead of going through life, maybe you're already like a coach or a personal trainer or expert, and I see that happening quite a few times. If people go, I already know that, or I'm already being coached, or I'm already like working with somebody, then the question is, so why aren't you getting where you want to go, or what is stopping you from getting those kind of results? And be open-minded about that somebody else might be a better fit for you to help you. And because you never know, sometimes you need 2 or 3 or 4 coaches. I mean, Tony Robbins has a few coaches and mentors he works with, and he didn't start and stop. He continued on, no matter at which level he was in his own on his journey. And we need to understand one thing: as soon as you say, I already know that, or already have a coach, or I'm not looking to grow my business, I'm content with who I am, then as soon as you do that, you limit yourself, because there is no discovery of growth and development that can happen, even if I were to come in and say and give you feedback, because you got that limiting belief. And everything that I will tell you will be blocked by you by saying, I'm already doing that, and I don't want to do that, and this is not something that I want. It's like, imagine, you're an online personal trainer, and imagine you got a person that comes to you and that says to you, well, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to do a diet, and I don't want to improve my eating habits, and I still want to eat bacon every day with 6 eggs, and I don't want to change how many fruits I eat. And then you go, well, here is what you could do. You could eat more fruits. Well, I don't want to eat more fruits. They're not good for me. So it's a losing battle, because you will be, well, what do you need me for? Well, I want you to tell me how to lose weight. Well, I'm telling you how to lose weight, but you're not taking on the feedback.
Yeah.
And that's where sometimes I get coaches like that. They go like, well, I got my 9 clients and I'm content with that, and I don't want to serve them better. I don't want to evolve. I just want to keep it at that. And then, but then they said, well, I want to earn more money so I can have a freedom lifestyle. So, well, have you thought about teaching and training other coaches, or people in your area that could do the same thing, so you eventually can pass on the bucket to them in your company if you don't want to do it anymore? And it's a logical thing. Everybody does it in business, okay? Like, even like the people that have a huge corporation, eventually they give the bucket to another CEO and they step away. And it's a simple feedback. And I remember this person saying to me, well, no, I don't want employees. I don't want, and I didn't talk about employees. I said to her, what about, but that's how limiting beliefs block you from getting feedback that could be valuable. And as long as you have those limiting thoughts and emotions, you will never break free. So you will always go in the cycle that you're in. And if you want to break out of that cycle, then stop saying to yourself, I already know that. I'm not willing to do this. I'm not willing to do that. Instead, go with a child's mind to the conversation and say, I'm open to receive feedback and I'm open to take it on board, not just receive it, but take it on board. And before you say no to it, why not consider it? And then if the person is the right fit for you, work with them if you feel that what they do is of great value to you, because it's not only information that you need to work on. I mean, we got Google, we got so many platforms we can get information from.
Yeah.
We really, you don't have a coach for information. You don't even have a mentor for information, or a therapist. You have those kind of services, including online personal training, for example, to 1, keep you accountable, 2, give you different insights that you didn't think of, 3, be a sounding board to you so that you can break free from your own way of sabotaging yourself and start creating or recreating positive habits and mind chat and all of that. And that's the reason why you have those kind of people in your life. If you just need information, you can get it for free anywhere. A video program will not do it for you, because the problem with video programs or video programs in general is, are you really watching all those videos? Are you keeping yourself accountable to watch every video every minute? Most likely not. Which again brings me back to the point where I go, coaching one-on-one is the most effective because you are kept accountable.
Massively. I mean, obviously, I'm going to leave all your details in the comments section. This is obviously going to go live on YouTube as a premiere, and also it's going to be on the podcast as well. So that'll be out Wednesday. So again, fantastic to have you, mate. And we'll have to jump on again and catch up again very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a pleasure. Look, I'm happy that I was able to share those kind of insights, and I really enjoyed catching up with you, because we haven't seen each other for such a long time. And and I actually miss being in London, to be quite honest. So, but things have changed over the years, and hopefully they will change again for the better, so we can travel more freely.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. We can actually do this in person rather over Zoom at one point. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be awesome.
Yeah, great stuff.
Well, thank you so much.
Great stuff. We'll catch up soon. See you later.
See you later.